Hey, it's Chris, Liege Games, Kickstarter peddler extraordinaire. Let's talk about it. What's coming to crowdfunding this week, this upcoming week of, we always talk about the Tuesdays as the dates, the 26th, as the last full week of April before we hit May. And there are a couple big names that are going to sort of test the market, and we're going to see what the reception is looking like, especially with this past week's relatively higher expectations as well. So, as always, smash the like button. You know what? Let's go. Can we get this video? Let's say 500. Plenty of you are going to watch it. Smash the like button. Let YouTube know that I'm doing this and other people maybe should tune in as well. That'd be awesome. Apart from that, Patreon. Apart from that, let's do this. Right into it. Let's go. Believe it or not, this is obviously the most hyped game of the week. This one actually also has me potentially the most interested as someone who does not usually go for this type of game from Garfield Games. We have Wayfarers of the South Tigris. And this is set in 820 AD. You are going to be gaining points by mapping land and sea in order to discover the most, while also caravanning, finding resources, and influencing different aspects of science along the way. It is a set collection worker placement with dice style games. I've seen it floating plenty around social media. They just released the tabletop simulator mod for the available public within the past 24 hours of me filming this on their Discord. And so if you want to check out what the game already looks like, you can. Again, this looks like something completely different. And as my play of Encyclopedia has shown me, you can like games outside of your usual norm. So I think this one is the one that makes me feel like I maybe am going to broaden my horizon. I don't know. I don't have any other Garfield games. Garfield Games inspires a very high loyalty among backers and previous game owners. And so it's going to do well. It's just a question of how well, and again, how different is it in not just a thematic standpoint, but from an actual mechanistic standpoint than the other trilogies they have put out in the past. It's launching on the 26th. Check it out. Now, I wasn't expecting at all to be talking about this in any way, shape, or form, because rumors up until this point this year had this coming to a retail side of things, but Renegade Studios just put out a tweet in the past week saying that GI Joe Mission Critical is going to be coming to Kickstarter, quote unquote, soon. So I have to think maybe this coming week. So I'm going to include it on this list just so you know. Now, this is a miniature-based game from Renegade Studio in the lines of using the core mechanisms of their Power Rangers Heroes of the Grid system. Here you can see it, and it says next week, so it's not even really a mystery. The problem is, we don't know really anything else about this game in the first place. There is a little update over here on their website, which talks about a vehicles expansion. That's it. So definitely, Power Rangers, Zords, GI Joe, vehicles. It's going to be interesting. Now, I'm assuming you can only play as the Joes, but who doesn't want to play as Cobra? Who doesn't want to be able to play Snake Eyes versus Storm Shadow? You know what I mean? Sweet. Now, if you can give me that, I'm tempted. But it's going to have to be something good, because especially if it's miniature driven, you're talking triple digit price point, and I don't really want to spend triple digit price point on a mediocre game IP. So show me what you got, make it a ton better, gimme something good, Renegade Game Studios. I'm assuming launching on the 26th, but we'll see what date it pops up. Also launching on the 26th, we have the latest expansion for Uprising, Curse of the Last Emperor, the smash and grab 4X game where you are not only going up in a cooperative sense against the game, but you are going up in a cooperative sense against 2 AI enemies in the game as well. And this has a lot of people really clamoring, I think, because it hasn't been available since the Kickstarter. And they're going to be offering, I believe, a reprint as well as what's going to be new with the expansion, including some new additions that I talked about in the previous video, which I'll include the link here, has everything you need to know. The only question is going to be, what is the price point going to be like for this? And what is the price point going to do differing than the original Kickstarter? Not that it really matters, but it's an interesting test of the market, because we just saw 2 prime examples of this past week with Sleeping Gods and the Great Wall. Sleeping Gods was just a hair higher. Great Wall was significantly higher than the first time around. So what will this do in that aspect? I mean, I've talked to them. My video is based on talking to them, and they're adding stuff and they're addressing some of the criticisms in terms of the mitigation, the dice rolls, and some of the cards that you're going to be able to use or not maybe use as much as you wanted to in the first game in the first place. 2 different factions as well with asymmetric powers. Again, it looks like if you liked the first game, this looks like a no-brainer, to be very fair, just based on what they said, because it's not adding a lot of complexity, but it's adding a little more depth and it's adding more mitigation, more of the good stuff getting better. So that is launching on the 26th. Also launching on the 26th is a very interesting, almost abstract, but more of a set collection type game called Damask. You are basically a master textilist, producing textiles in this 1 to 4 player game from Radical 8 Games. The fabrics that you're creating are called Damask. You are trying to match the patterns and the weaves that are out in front of you in order to collect points. But you need to be aware because those patterns and weaves may change depending on what other players do on their turns and the influence that they wield. This one has me saying sleeper hit of the week all over it. So this is one I think you really have to keep your eye on, even though the other 3 that I've already mentioned are going to probably raise the more buku bucks. This is one of those that I see as an easy hit to the table. Very nice aesthetically. It sort of gives me a multiplayer mandala vibe, if you will, just based off of pure aesthetic. But I think if the gameplay holds up and the price point is good and there's a reason to get it now, this is definitely one that I am going to be watching very, very closely. Next up on the 26th, we have Waste Knights 2, second version, second edition, and this is a new expansion for it called Beyond the Horizon. Not familiar with Waste Knights? Well, it's a post-apocalyptic setting for 1 to 4 players in a cooperative sort of survival-esque game, and this one, as it mentions in the title and as is very obvious based on the graphical interpretation here, you have exploration going on into places of legendary and myth in the realm of this world, which is taking the form of several different types of islands, including New Zealand and the Solomon Islands. Adventure-based, plot point driven, resource management style game with different knights that are adaptable and upgradable as you go along. The expansion will not only be offering new locations, it will also apparently be offering at least 2 new knights to go along with the core. The construction of the adventures themselves are often unique, and it gives high replayability because no 2 adventures are going to be alike depending on how you structure them. Again, I would imagine, as is the popular trend nowadays, you can get some of the previous stuff. How much and to what is your own choosing. But the question is always, again, for a game that is, I think, available at retail, why get it through crowdfunding? Why wait? Why get it then? But are you going to get a better bundle deal, especially if you get more? So that's launching on the 26th as well. Check it out. Also launching on the 26th, we have Anunnaki, Gone of the Gods. This is a 1 to 4 player, set in the past, sort of science fiction-esque game that is self-described as more of a Euro game. Your house is ruled by one of the various gods. You are the embodiment of said gods, trying to build up your own house through various mechanisms, trying to earn the most points by recruiting, training, and going up against the other houses. Now, it looks to be somewhat cohesive in terms of your own board as well as other boards as being part of the world, but it's an interesting aspect because we don't see many Euro games with what appear to be more of a miniature-based system. So again, how much is that going to affect price point? How different is it going to be than other Euro games out there in the first place? We're just going to have to wait and see when it launches on the 26th. Also launching on the 26th is this very interesting, aptly titled Through the Ice and Snow. A 1 to 5 player expedition-based game where you are trying to make a new path. The British Empire needs new paths to Asia, and you are trying to be responsible for creating one of these said paths. Modular board as things get revealed, and you are captaining one of several ships that are available to you, each with 3 different crew members with asymmetric abilities. This Arctic journey definitely doesn't look like it's for the faint of heart, based on the real experiences in this very perilous land when they were doing this sort of travel in the Arctic, and it's going to try to represent that thematically in terms of the mechanisms itself in the first place. Check it out when it launches on the 26th. Also launching on the 26th is called Flip Town. It's a flip and write using a basically standard set of cards where you are flipping 3 cards. These 3 cards are going to represent the suit, the value, and your poker card, because that's going to be part of it as well. You are doing this through 4 separate areas on your map. Here you can see some of the asymmetry that you're going to be running into in terms of the solo, if you're looking for that. And then here you can see a larger picture of the 4 separate areas you'll be dealing with. And it's a simultaneous action selection, like many roll and writes, where you are choosing one of these 3 cards at the top here to illustrate the 3 that I just talked about in your own choosing. And the asymmetric areas are going to give you different bonuses and different wards that are going to help you carry out other actions and influences in those regions in the first place. Again, a different venture into the flip and right, the roll and rights, if you will. And so we'll see how things vary and what it looks like when it launches on the 26th. Next up on the 26th, we have All Time Wrestling, a obviously wrestling-based game set in the past, present, and future using wrestlers from all time eras. Parodies of ones, as well as I believe they also have official licenses for a few names you may or may not recognize. And so it's sort of a card flip, card play, resolution, head-to-head style game. Here you can see a little bit of what the card looks like for a certain wrestler who vaguely resembles Kenny Omega. And they have official licenses for other characters that you may recognize, like Kurt Angle or the British Bulldog. But this is the sort of style that you're going to be seeing and utilizing in terms of the mechanics. And so we'll just kind of have to wait and see what it finally looks like. Now, they say they're going for the 26th in the forums. They're based out of Dubai, though, so they're setting up their Kickstarter account. So that's what they're still going for. So hopefully, if nothing changes, we will see it launch on that day. Next up, also launching on the 26th. Everything is on the 26th this week, in case you missed that. Spirit Duels. A 1 versus 1 spirit dueling game. Sort of has a Pokemon vibe because you're evolving your creatures through battle and going head to head. Now, the problem is we don't really know much about the game. There's not really anything on Board Game Geek. I spoke to them a few weeks ago, I think, on Facebook. And so they've definitely had some playtesting out there. It's definitely an interesting game to be looking at. And again, the question is, in the dueling heavy genre, what sets it apart? How does it differ? You know, what's going to be unique about this one that makes it stand out? I'm excited. This is one that I could easily see flying under the radar and having some good success, sort of like Blade Rondo or even Space Lion, that I thought was going to be doing a little bit better than it is. But this is in that line, and so I want to see what they can do with this, so I will be checking it out when it launches on the 26th. Now, we have 2 more here. First up is Extravaganza. 2 to 4 player. I didn't think I'd ever be saying anything like this. Strategic, limp-syncing, drag queen battle game. I'm not really sure what to make of this, so I'm just going to read you some of the description here at Board Game Geek, and you can take it for what it is. On your turn, you bedazzle, you draw rhinestones, and add them to your area. You can move like a queen in chess. You can draw a card and take lip tokens, depending on how many you have in the same color. Dance, play a dance move card, spending the stones to increase the quality and earning points, and spending your tokens to claim lyrics of the song. And I have no idea what that means in the context of things, but you can at least see a little bit more of what that looks like here in the game format. So take that for what you will. Didn't expect that to be coming across my radar today, but there you go. Last up this week, I can't pronounce this, Oranienburger Kanal. This is the latest from Spielberg's, and this is a 1 to 2 player game. In this city, you are erecting new pathways, new canals, new bridges, streets, and everything that goes along with them. It includes a solo game, but it's all about the right actions at the right time based on the right opportunity. I have no idea what we're looking at here, but it's going to be a little bit of a heavier game, I would imagine. And so I would imagine even at the lower player count, it's probably going to be more in line with that. Now, this one actually has a gamefound page, which I was not expecting. As it says here, 45 plus minutes, and it's a dual language as well, but you're just building in the industrial area like I mentioned. Again, scoring your most points based on how well you do in building those areas. That's it, though. That's it for everything we know, and so if you want to check it out, it'll be launching on the 26th. So, for over-unders, where are we at? Last week, what did I say? I said Sleeping Gods or Great Wall. Well, Sleeping Gods is clearly winning that one. I don't even need to go over to the GameFound page to tell you that. That's okay. The next one was over-under 4.5 games over 100,000. We have Anastair, we have Sleeping Gods, we have The Great Wall, we have Autobahn. That's 4. Oh, and we have Assault on Doomrock, the Ultimate Edition. So that's 5. Which means I actually screwed that one up because I actually said under because I completely forgot about Anastair on that video. Otherwise, I would have easily gone over. Oh well. The last two, I said Feralis, Obscure Land over or under 130,000, 106,000 euros, which is, again, don't have to take my word for it, 115,000 US dollars. So got that right. And Dead by Daylight, I got that wrong. I said over under 900,000. Broke a million, so it killed it. But I got that one wrong. So, what should we do this week? Did you still know that Total Rome was going on? I completely forgot about that. And I think that's the big problem with GameFound right now, is just the foot traffic to see the campaigns that are still going on it's sort of out of sight, out of mind. Just a quick side tangent there. Let's see. First up, Wayfarers of the South Tigris versus GI Joe Mission Critical. Which is going to have more? I'm going to go with Wayfarers. I think Wayfarers is going to make splashes just by that nature, but I could easily see that being flipped, though, the other way. Let's put Mall Peak. Mall Peak on the over-under. We'll go 140,000 over or under. I'm going to go under on that one just by the price of the game. Blade Rondo, also going to be ending before this video is airing next week. And let's say the over-under at, let's say, 85,000. Again, I'm actually probably going to go under on that one too. And last up in the over-unders here, Paradox Initiative, which I think is going to fly under the radar. It's going to end just before this video goes up next week, less than 12 hours. And we'll say Paradox Initiative, 75,000. I'm going to go under on that one. So next week also, how many games over 250,000? You have Waste Knights, you have Uprising Curse of the Last Emperor expansion with a reprint. You have, and obviously, the other two that I already mentioned, GI Joe Mission Critical and Wayfarers. Do you think all four are going to break 250,000? I think 3 of the 4. Tell me this. How many break 250,000? Waste Knights 2nd edition is not going to break 250,000. But I think the other 3 are easily. There you go. TV time. What am I watching? I finished Sky Castle, the K-drama on Netflix. Again, sort of the influence and the pressures, and why do adults have their kids do certain things? It's more for themselves, or is it more for the kids? An examination of sort of a inside look to a drama aspect on the Korean aspect of that, especially academics, not really preparing them for other things, but just really to pass a test. Very interesting concept. I'm also watching My Name, another Korean drama where daughter, her dad is killed, and she gets pulled into the life of basically the Korean mafia growing up and tries to get revenge with a few twists thrown in there, as not only is she trying to get revenge, she infiltrates and becomes a police officer. There you go. And then I'm still getting through Top Boy, the London-based gang drug slinging drama as well. So that's about it. I caught up on Slow Horses, the BBC drama. Very good. I highly recommend that if you can check that one out. And then Thaw. I watched another Nordic noir called Thaw, which was okay. It was solid B+. So yeah, played some Smash Brothers. Playing a lot of Smash Brothers. By the time you're watching this, I am going to have worked probably a half day at work. And I'm also then going to be coaching 2 soccer games immediately after. And so that's going to be a crazy day because I got to get out of work on time in order to get to the soccer games, because it's not just showing up to the soccer games. I'm the coach for both of them. A pre-K, K, and then a 1st and 2nd grade team. Thankfully, the 1st and 2nd grade team is the first game of the day. And that's in the middle of the day, you know, like right in the smack in the middle of the day. And then the next game is after that, thankfully. But all I have to do is show up and put them in positions for the first game. Second game, there's like a half an hour practice and then half an hour of actual game. But spoilers, I think my 6.5-year-old is going to totally dominate. Like, he should be playing. He would be one of the better kids, I think, on my 8-year-old's team. He should be playing up, but it's gonna be interesting. I may have to like hold him back, like, son, I'm sorry, you can only play 1 quarter as one of the 2 forwards, because otherwise it's gonna be a lot to a little, because he's also almost the size of my 8-year-old. So we'll see. It'll be fun though. They're both excited about it. They're both really, really pumped, and it should be interesting. And hopefully I have a voice afterwards, which is why I'm gonna try and film something else tonight, because I'm not sure what my voice is gonna be like afterwards of shouting at kids for 2 hours straight in a row. That's about it. That's about it. I got some games I need to get played more this weekend. Encyclopedia. I bought a copy of Ark Nova for basically retail price from someone on Board Game Geek, so that worked out great. And I also got my copy of Wonderland's War this past week, which I'm super excited about. So I'm still waiting for details on my Root expansion, and I have not seen hide nor hair of anything Marvel X-Men United. So I'm still trying to pick up some of the expansions I missed on the secondary market, because I'm going to try and get them all. Gotta catch them all. That's all I got. That's it. Again, smash the like. Let's do this. Have a great weekend. Whew. By the time you watch this, hopefully I'm going to be done with all that stuff, but it's going to be a long day. No lie. Okay. Stay classy. Have a great one. See you around. News video on Monday.